and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Get Started. I'm Manpreet, your host, and I'm very happy that you guys are back on the podcast. So, I'm today joined with somebody very, very special, and that's Kiran. She is a product manager at Vagaro, and she is a graduate of marketing and design. And besides that, she has her own podcast as well. Maybe not active that much, but she had one. And plus, she is a multi-talented content creator. And besides that, a very important factor that she's my cousin. The reason why we are today online is because she lives in the US, but I thought that's a very special person and very interesting person I want to introduce to you guys. That's why I thought I should welcome Kiran. Hi, welcome, Kiran.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm very happy to have you here too. So, Kiran, why don't you tell something about yourself? So, who are you? Besides that you're my cousin.
Yeah, so I am a product manager at Vagaro. I've more early in my career, but I got the chance to, right out of my master's program, join this company as a digital marketer. So I was running advertisements for the company, and then I went into a research role, and then now I'm a product manager. So I've just slowly been building up my career. Outside of this, I do have my own podcast. I love going to the gym, love listening to music, hanging out with friends and family. Yeah, I'm still trying to get back into my hobbies. It's kind of hard when you start working to have like a very active social life, but you got to work on it. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's true. Well, besides that, so you are a product manager at Bugaro, and I mean, it started somewhere, right? So it started somewhere in marketing or like planning, or like how did you even get into that line? Like product managing is like a very big task, like the whole company kind of relies on you, and I bet the stress level is kind of high as well. So tell us about it.
For sure. So, um, my story kind of starts with my graduate program. So I went to the University of San Francisco's Master's in Marketing Intelligence, and we actually do it's 11-month program, and we do a internship for about 3 months with a company. And luckily, that was the year that Vagaro started partnering with the school, and I got to work on this big research project on the medical spa industry, which is one of Vagaro's target audiences. And right after I did that, I applied to a role that was open for digital marketing because that was what I was really interested in at the time. Um, and then I got hired on the marketing team, and I did that for about 3 months actually. My director was great. I had really good mentorship, and he kind of saw a potential for me to learn more. Because we were advertising to certain audiences, we wanted to grow and make sure we're acquiring more businesses. So I started looking into new markets, and that requires a lot of research and figuring out if our product matches what the audience would like. So I began doing more of that, and my manager at the time recommended I get this promotion to a market research and like more of a product specialist role. So I began doing that probably January of 2023 until last year, almost like October 2024. So I did that for over a year and a half. Um, Started working with more teams because I needed to learn about what we already knew about our customers, problems that we have with maybe our features, or what are we missing, and then doing surveys and interviews and stuff like that. So I began accidentally getting into product very early on, which was great. I got to work with the team that I'm currently on. I would give them insights, I would give them like all this research and ideas, and they would be so excited to like take it and work on it. But I realized because they're a team of designers and engineers, they don't have the ability to fully execute something like this. It takes a very particular person to bring the research and make sure it's like being moved throughout like the process. So I realized there's a gap in our company for a product manager role. So I talked to my manager at the time and then also the director of product design, and I got promoted into a product manager. So yeah, it was just like this like right timing thing, but also me just trying to grow my skills. And it is a very hard job, and I'm about like 10 months into it, but it's so rewarding to see all the research and the work, you know, be created, designed, tested, and then released, and our customers be so happy about it. And that's something that I love about my industry. So, yeah,
That's really amazing to hear. So it was obviously not your plan B. So it was like kind of you got into it. It's like trust the process and it will bring you there where you're supposed to be, right? So that's what
exactly.
kind of happened. So what
Yeah.
was actually your plan A? So what did you want to, like, what was your plan with your degree you had? What was like your outcome
Yeah.
you hoped for?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I completed my bachelor's in 2020, at the start of the pandemic. So I was actually going to be a entertainment marketing manager. And I was interviewing at like concert companies, so like Ticketmaster and Live Nation for jobs with live events, and those got shut down in the pandemic. Those roles were eliminated. So I was very lucky to have a design background. So my bachelor's is in marketing and design. The marketing part, those jobs were cut first. I couldn't find anything. But the design roles, I could do freelance design. So I was creating logos for companies. I was creating like branding and websites. And I was doing a lot of these like smaller tasks, smaller jobs. And I was doing all of this, and then also I got into like tutoring and mentorship. So through a company, I was able to work on ed tech, like educating people through, I think it was the University of Berkeley, UC Berkeley program to help people pivot their careers in digital marketing. So I didn't fully have a digital marketing background. I had an events marketing background, but I took that and then I essentially learned all these digital marketing concepts to teach to people. And that got me really excited. And I was like, oh, wow, I can do this. And then I could become a manager and eventually maybe a CMO, and that was kind of my plan. But then I went back to school and my program was very research heavy. And I was like, in the program, I was like, I don't really like this. This is kind of like boring to me. I'm going to stick to digital marketing. So even when I got to Vagaro, I was doing that. But then I saw a need for someone to be a research specialist. And then I started doing that. And it was fun because I was researching beauty and wellness trends, fitness trends, and I think like there's a huge, growth happening in like skincare and natural beauty and like a lot of this stuff, but also still in the medical spa industry with like getting Botox and like injectables. And even for fitness, like how do you do mini workouts and how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? Like these are all really things that interested me personally, and I got to research it and use that to help my company. And I think that just made me fall in love with research more. So I didn't think I was going to be a product manager or ever in product. I only wanted to be in marketing, but I'm really excited to see what this new path is like.
So just like for the audience, like what is actually Vagaro? Like what are they more
Yeah.
focused on? Like what is the whole company about?
Yeah, so we're a SaaS company, and essentially we are providing business management tools for small to mid-sized businesses in the beauty, wellness, and fitness industry. So any hair salon you go to, or maybe a massage place, they are using a booking software online potentially, and we are one of those in that market. We actually have a really big market share in the US, and we're growing pretty consistently throughout like the UK and hopefully throughout Europe eventually. But yeah, when you book an appointment online, that could be Vagaro. When you're taking a payment at a salon, that's Vagaro. So we're focused on the more small to mid-sized companies, but in this like wellness self-care space.
Yeah, I see. That's interesting. So it's very related to your research, obviously. I was just
Yeah.
wondering. And so
Yeah.
you're doing like a lot of stuff which I mentioned before. Now you're like on the more research or like product managing side. Besides
Mhm.
that, you had like your content creating sides. Maybe you can talk about that. Like we know all, like I can mention them later as well. And like always, obviously your podcast. So how did you manage it? Like, are you still doing it or like how is it going? Did you pause something? Did you had to like sacrifice something? Tell us about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think before the pandemic, I was really into like dance. That was like my main hobby. And I had a really big friend group where we would just do dance covers on YouTube. And it kind of started that way, that and making like family videos for my family. So like you're in Germany, I would make videos so that we could like see each other's like content and like catch up on each other's lives. And that kind of fueled that passion and creativity for video editing and photo design. And so during the pandemic, I was feeling very isolated, like many of us were. And I was trying to get advice from people, and there was so much wisdom going around and a lot of confusion about what to do next. So I thought of creating a podcast. And at the time, like this was around when podcasts were getting popular, but they weren't that popular just yet. I think the pandemic really like pushed a lot of people to do it, but I wanted to create a podcast that would connect people and like knowledge share. And so people would feel like they were part of a community and that they weren't alone. And I did this for others, but also for myself. Like I needed that community space. And I did that pretty actively for I think like maybe a year or two. No, about 3 years. And then I think it was around the time when I started my job here at the company, it slowed down and I do miss a lot of it. I'm hoping to get back into it, but I think that phase of my life was so different. It was like right out of college, I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted mentorship. I was feeling very isolated. And now it's like, okay, I'm a career professional. Maybe I should take that direction with it. So it's kind of, I'm still up in the air about it. But I think that creativity to create content and build community, build connections is still there. So I'm thinking of other ways to kind of continue to do that. But when you start working full time, it you got to pick and choose. You have to make sacrifices. It doesn't mean you can't do it later. If you can do it at the same time, that's awesome. But I just know that for me, I burn out quickly because of like the stress of my job and how much it does require me to like contribute right to my company. And also because I'm the only product manager here, I have to learn a lot on my own. So I just don't have the capacity to like continue podcasting or even doing dance videos. Eventually I'm hoping I can do that again, but yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, like I really hope that like everybody who has like a passion, that person never has to like sacrifice them. Like I mean, if you get into a job, like you need to learn like kind of the balance. It takes time. It doesn't like, oh, you are 1 week into the job and you found the balance, but it's like always
Yeah.
like it's a long process, obviously. I remember like when we had our podcast together, I was on my cousin's podcast as well. It was about what was it? About I think how we live differently, like as in a like Indian background, but like she lives in the US and I live in Germany, and how the difference is, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like that,
We were
yeah.
just sharing like our like journeys as brown women in different countries away from our motherland. It was really insightful, I think. Yeah.
It was definitely. I think it was like a new perspective for others as well, because
Yeah.
maybe people think, okay, and then it's just the same. But I think we both grew up very differently, even though we have like we are very close, like with the parents, but still there are big differences. It was very nice actually. But
Yeah.
yeah, coming back to Vagaro, obviously. So your approach, like how do you kind of manage like cross-functional teams, for example? Like you don't work with one team, so you have to work with different teams because you are like kind of the middle person, right? So how do you do that? Like because I mean, you have to self teach yourself so many things, and besides that, like people are different.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. It's a big part of my role. I think every single day I'm working with at least 3 to 4 teams at my company. Um, and I think the main thing I've learned is like we need extreme clarity and we need clear communication. That solves a lot of the problems. We're always all shooting for the same goals, but our strategies and our ideas are very different. So once you can understand what the other team wants, or maybe the other stakeholder, as we like to refer to, wants, you can kind of bridge that gap a little bit better. So essentially, like we have some products coming out and some features that our clients have been waiting for a while. I want to make sure we're releasing things in a timely manner, but I also don't want to release things that are not ready and that would leave a bad taste in our customers' mouths. So I began doing like beta testing. That was like the first initiative I created on my team when I joined. And that helped resolve a lot of those like quick, like before releasing it, let's release it to this many people, test it, fix things, and then release it. And that's been working really smoothly. But to do that, you have to work with engineers, you have to talk to marketing, you have to talk to sales, you have to talk to design, make sure that we are all on the same page about timelines. And no one's perfect. We're going to mess up at times, and it's a learning experience. I think that's one thing I'm trying to be more graceful for myself about is that I'm managing almost like 15 projects at a time, and I'm going to miss something. But I think building a good rapport with your team, they understand. So we started creating like these channels to talk about one product at a time. And I'll update the team on like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is when we're going to hand it off to our development team in India. We got a demo back from our development team. Let's test it. Okay, we tested it. It looks great. Marketing, are you ready? We're going to release on this date. We get them ready. We release it. We celebrate the release. We're like, thank you, everybody who worked on it. It comes out. And then maybe a few months later, we do a survey. We talk to our customers, ask them what they like. And we like monitor the metrics to see like, okay, did we actually do this correct? That's the process, but you have to inform every single person because they can't do their job until you do yours. And my job is to make sure that like the product is going through each cycle and we're on track to releasing it and everybody's on the same page. Because I think sometimes the frustration can be is I don't know what's happening. When is this coming out? Because before I stepped into this role, there was a lot of ambiguity around like when is a product coming out? When sometimes it would get released and a department would not even know, and we'd like open up the software and be like, oh, when did this happen? Like there was just like a lot of like misalignment, miscommunication. So that was like the first thing I was like beta testing and communication. We're going to work on that. And it's been going pretty well so far. I'm sure there's ways to improve it, but yeah, that's I think how I try to work with teams. If we can't meet in person, we also try to do meetings pretty like bi-weekly to make sure each department is up to date on what they need to do. Because we do have a huge support department too. So like anytime people are confused, they can call a support agent and they can help them through their problem. But we need to train those support agents on our new feature. So in case someone calls in about it, so we have to talk to the training team and the training team will then go train them. So it's a lot of like you have to think things through in a very timely manner, and respecting other people's boundaries and like timelines also helps a lot in this role. So you need to talk to people, you need to make sure that you're on the same team and you're on the same page. But yeah, that's how I do it at least.
That's actually pretty much like a lot of work, actually, to be honest. Like, if you're a product manager, oh yeah, do that, and the product is launching. But there's so much more. I think in every job, there's so much more. Like, you only see it when you're completely into it. But like your products that you are maybe featuring, is there like one particular product you want to talk about or like you are extra proud of?
Yeah. There's a couple, but I think one of the biggest ones I worked on, this was before I became a product manager. I
Mhm.
started researching with the designer like early on, and that was the first time we ever did that at this company. Research usually came very at the end, like they would create something and then they were like, "Hey, what's the value this is going to have in the market?" Which is the reverse of what you should be doing. So this was the first time we ever started with research, and it was for a feature called instant payouts. So when our businesses complete a transaction, so like for example, if you got your hair cut and the business charged you money, that money is now sitting in our Vagaro account for that business. They can't access it for 1 to 3 days because of batch times and how like our software works and how like the industry usually works. If you want your money right away, we would need to create a new feature for it. And that's what that was, instant payouts. So you would click a button and it would like instantly send your money to your account, similar to how Venmo, Zelle, a lot of these banks do it. So we noticed that people were complaining about not getting their money right away. And then we came up with ideas of like what that looks like. And it was this feature essentially. And I'm very proud of it because the designer I worked with worked with was very new at the time too. So we were both kind of these like new people trying to figure this out together. And as she designed it, based off of like the research and the feedback, taking that into consideration, is when I transitioned into my PM role. So I was then able to like meet her right when she needed me to help her, then move it into like development and then demo testing. And this was one of those features that we beta tested, and our customers were absolutely obsessed with it. It's been doing really well. It's generated a lot of revenue for us too. So it's always about like kind of how do you address the customer's problem and also make sure that your business goals are being met and balancing that. And this was like the first time I was able to see that happen, and it was so exciting. Um, and yeah, and me and that designer love working together. I love working with everyone on my team, but I think we have a special bond because of that project in particular. So, um, yeah, I think that's probably like my favorite feature we've released, and I'm so proud of like my team for doing that.
That's actually amazing to see. Like, if you have created something and in the end it's like a big plus for your company. And I mean, the company is like not a tiny company. So it's like a big thing. And I'm also proud of you about that. Besides that, like, how do you actually, do you still somehow integrate your bachelor or your master into your role right now? Like, is it like, oh yeah, I remember that, I used that back at the studies? Like, does it somehow complement, or is it like, oh, okay, I never needed that, but it's nice to have this knowledge?
No, I think it's the complete opposite. I use my all of my degrees very like effectively, and I don't think about it. It's just a part of who I am now as a person. I don't think like, "Oh, I'm glad I went to school for this because now I know this." A lot of your learning comes from real world experience. It's not just about the textbooks and the academics. But I will say that after joining this company, my design skills were used a lot. My marketing background was still used a lot, especially when I was still on the marketing department. And now, as a PM, I work with designers, like about five or six designers. I have a product design manager who works alongside with me, who's amazing at like working through a lot of these design problems that we have and guiding our team. And then we have a senior director of product design who guides us in what direction to go to. So I have a really great team, and they're all design background. I'm the only one who doesn't have a product design background. I have a design background, which is more like logo design. But when we have these like brainstorming sessions where we're using like AI to vibe code, or we're photoshopping things together to kind of just like get initial ideas down, I'm able to compete with them too. Like I'm giving my all. I have that background. I'm able to like contribute in a meaningful way because I'm not only just thinking about our software, like what we can do, I'm thinking how to solve the customer's problem with my basic design skills and building something quick that I think our customers need. And usually, like, that's a really helpful thing because the designers sometimes are not thinking about that. They're thinking more um, like what's realistically functionable in the software. And sometimes we try to like do these brainstorming sessions to think outside the box, but I think because I have that design background and I have a research background, I'm always thinking of both of them at the same time, and it creates meaningful solutions. Same thing with marketing. I know how to work well with the marketing team just because like I was there. I have a lot of friends on that department. I know how they function, how much time they need at times. And I try my best to keep that in mind. And the skills I brought over from the marketing team, like knowing my audience, knowing the pain points, knowing how we're going to have to like promote this to them, like the value props behind an initiative. I keep that in mind when we're building it. So we're just bringing in marketing values early on in the product design so that we're creating something that's really meaningful and easy for our customers to understand. So, yeah, I'm always using all of my degrees. Like, I don't think I would have this knowledge without like that, like fundamentation, like foundational academic background, but then also like the experiences that I've had.
Amazing. Like, you see, like, it's like then worth it, you know? I mean, we put like 3, 5 years depending on what we're doing, like into studies, and like if it's kind of worth it, or like you can use it, that's like the most important thing. I mean, even like marketing and design is not that far away from product management. Like somehow you can connect the dots, but I mean, still, it's like useful. You see it and you're like, okay, even though I'm not on the same level, I can still somehow compete with others. I think that's like also like a big thing. Like you, it's always up to you how you want to compete. You can compete with the same degree or without. I mean, that's an important thing. But
Yeah.
besides that, I just wanted to talk a little bit more on the podcast theme. I thought like that's like also very interesting. Maybe you can tell us like you have a little bit more experience than we maybe have right now. Maybe what is like the things which makes like a great podcast, or like how did you like choose your conversation or your guests? Like what was like the key thing, or you would say, okay, this is important when you want to have a podcast. This is like the key features.
Think now. So with
Take your time.
podcasting, I think like it's very important to think about the logistics because I feel like a lot of people try to start a podcast and do a podcast, but then they give up because it is so hard. It is a very difficult thing, especially if you don't have a team. And like, luckily, you guys have like a whole team working with you. But like, I had to create a script based off of my outreach. So I had a few friends help me with like reaching out to people, recommending people, and then I would communicate via email, figure out a time, learn about them, like who are they, and then create a whole script. And this is before ChatGPT and AI, right? So like you had to manually think of like, oh, what would be an interesting topic to talk about. And so because of all of that, the episodes went smoothly. Like I had something I could talk about. And sometimes I would just let the guests talk. Like people love talking about themselves. If you just ask further questions, like they'll elaborate and go deeper, right? Like, oh, like why did you do this? Oh, that's so cool that you did that. Like, how about this? Did you ever consider that? Like, it's not that difficult to ask follow-up questions, but I think having a script was really key. And then the other things like certain platforms just were evolving really quickly during the pandemic. So the original platform I was using was Anchor FM, and I think they got bought out by Spotify. And then Riverside now, I think we're using that to record right now. This is another platform that got created. We were originally partnering with Anchor FM, I remember. And then yeah, so now this is a platform too. It's actually better than Zoom calls. I used to do Zoom calls. It was a bit more distracting and a bit harder to, engage with my guest, but it got the job done. So you can be scrappy about it. And then finding the right mic. I felt like my audio was really bad compared to my guests sometimes, and I was like, "Oh no, I need to invest in this." So yeah, it's just these small things that you don't think about. And this is before you even record an episode. And then once you record it, you just got to make sure you're relaxed. Don't get nervous as much as you can. I know it's like hard sometimes when you're, especially talking to someone you've never met before, but people love talking about themselves. They're there because they want to like support and like talk about the work that they did. So yeah, I think like once the episode was recorded, then editing everything on my own was like very hard. So I think if you have editors, that's great. I know a lot of like college students also just work for free just to get references. So you can work with college programs, maybe even like offer some sort of stipend, but getting an editor and then even like after that, like that part was like hard to me, but I liked it. I loved every part of that. And then now the marketing and promotion side. Even though I have like a background in marketing, that stuff is so hard to do. Creating the graphics, then promoting the audio clips that you think are very pop that are going to be like clickbaity or will stand out to people, and then getting your guests to promote their episode, like building scripts for them to just copy and paste and make it easier on them, right? So it was a lot of this stuff, like what platforms to post on for what kind of engagement. So it's just a lot that goes into podcasting. And if you have a podcast, like I'm very proud of you because it's so difficult to have one and maintain it. Um, but yeah, like you just have to figure out the logistics of how this is going to work because if one part of it gets messed up, it makes everything else harder and it delays a lot of progress on the other stuff. So, yeah, all you really need, like from what I remember advice-wise, was like a strong audio and a good story, like, and you're good, you're good to go.
I mean, thank God, like I have a whole team I tried to build, and I think that these people are pretty amazing. I even have a co-host. So if I'm not available, this person can then like come and like be there, you know. And it's really like more than I thought of. Like at the beginning, I did like solo podcasts. I think remember there was a time I posted maybe two. I think, but if you do it like for a whole community, there's like kind of more responsibility to do it right, you know. You have like people watching you, you have already this community built who is already watching, you know. I don't have to bother much about, oh, I have to reach out to people. I have to more about, okay, if I even do it right, you know. Sometimes I'm nervous, or sometimes I'm just afraid to mess it up. So it's kind of a big responsibility, but still I love it. It's really fun. I mean, that's like a project I'm proud of, really. Like it's really nice to have it, and even like make whole reach, you know, so that people recognize you and be like, oh, okay, I know this person from the podcast, you know, like it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I think like podcasting is it opened a lot of doors for people to become creators because like besides creating, like dance videos or like other like music or, acting, talking is just so easy and like people can do that very easily. So I think this being able to do a podcast is just such a like gift to society too, because who else would you listen to like on a radio or like an audiobook or something? And now podcasts are just so popular. So I feel like it's I'm really proud of you too and your team for, doing all of this because it's a lot of work, but you'll definitely see it trickle into your careers in general. Like interviewing someone through the podcast helped me when I'm talking to my customers and I'm trying to understand them and what their problems are or what they like. So the skills are always transferable.
That's nice to hear, like to know, okay, like where this can maybe lead me to. Besides that, so about advice you were giving, so do you have like advice about people who wanna like combine their studies with like kind of creativity and business? Because I think nowadays creativity is like go is declining in general. I think this is like AI or just like in general social media is kind of taking away our creativity. But like to maintain this, it's very nice to kind of combine it with business. Do you have any advice like how to do it or like how to maintain creativity in general?
Yeah, I think it's something I struggle with too. So I wish I had more to share on this, but I think you have to dedicate time to be creative,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds so uncreative. I think for me, like, especially when you start getting busy with like life, I think as you get older too, responsibilities increase. They never decrease, to be honest. You'll, I don't know, like have a partner, you'll get married, you'll have kids. Now you have like to take care of your whole family. I think it never gets easy. It's how do you manage your time and manage your stress? And for me, what's helped is I build a schedule and I don't follow it as religiously as like I should, but it helps me make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep. I read a little bit before I go to sleep every day so I know I'm learning something. Sometimes it's like fiction, sometimes it's nonfiction. Like right now, I'm reading a lot of books on product management because that's what I need to do. And then I think with the creative part too is like you got to find some time to be creative. Whether that's early in the morning, wake up a little bit earlier so that you can draw, you can like create music, you can, you know, create a TikTok reel or something, Um, you just got to find those moments where you can bring it in and build a habit on it. Because the more you schedule it in, and if you do it consistently, you'll continue doing it versus like when you do it once in a while, there's like a lot of this like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? You lose that like consistency. And I think that's what like for me with my podcast became an issue was like I stopped doing it and then it got so hard to get back into it. But then when I would do it, I was like, oh, this is so easy. Like, why was it such a mental block for me? Um, so you just got to like build the habit of trying to always like value creativity as much as being productive because sometimes there's like that struggle of, oh, if I do this, am I really being productive? You are, you just need to find the balance. So, yeah, just make sure you're finding time every single day to bring that in. Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
No, no, that's a great advice. I love that. I love that. So, what is actually next for you? What's coming up? Anything exciting? Like, I don't know what you want to share. Like, what you're dreaming about something, manifesting anything?
Yeah. Honestly, like I've been thinking about this more and more. Last year around this time, actually, I was manifesting this PM job, and that was before there was any conversation around it. I was like, oh, I really want to do this kind of role, and I'm here. So I firmly believe in manifesting. I think like I manifest being a great PM and continue to be a great PM and actually PMs in the future. Um, because I think that's one thing I really like is like I like working with people. I love working with product too and like helping launch things, but I want to help mentor people and help them launch great product too. So I think that's probably what I would be thinking about future career wise. But I think like in general, I'm trying to get back into like the podcasting and like building the community, connecting people. But I think I want to do it differently. Like maybe not start away right away with the podcast. I'm thinking of starting a blog actually, so I can share some of these like insights I'm getting from people I'm talking to and like these industry experts at like a lot of these like big tech companies because the job market is very hard and I think we all understand it, we hear it. It's bad in the US, I'm sure it's bad in like Europe and Germany, but there's small tips and tricks that are working for people and I want to be able to share what I'm learning because I think the value shouldn't just end with me learning it. I should be sharing it to other people. So I'm thinking about doing a blog, but we'll see. So yeah, those are kind of like the two things, career stuff, personal creative stuff that could be a little bit more easy because podcasting is really hard, but I think writing a blog might be a little bit easier for me or more up my alley right now.
To do a blog or something like that, you can just like start it and you don't have to finish it right away. Like if you're doing a podcast, you have to sit there straight, like for like 40 or like a whole hour and be like, okay, I have to sit there and finish. But if you do a blog, you can do it anytime you want to. So that's actually a nice thing.
Yeah, I think like also the whole point of like creativity and stuff, I want to do things that aren't related to my career either because you should do things that you're just doing for fun because it might actually help you in the long run. So I think I am trying to get back into doing like more content too, like beauty content because I love makeup and skincare and it has to do with my industry. So I have so much like research knowledge that I want to bring into maybe like here's how you do your eyeliner and also here's what you should know about eyeliner, you know? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah,
That's my cousin. I know her.
PM influencer. Oh my gosh. Manifest it, you know? Could
Put it
happen.
on your vision board. I
For
will
sure,
too.
for sure.
Okay, well, amazing. So, what I do always like when we are slowly wrapping up our podcast, I do like a quick fire round. So, it's basically I'm going
Mhm.
to ask you some quick questions and you need to try to answer ASAP.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so what's your favorite productivity tool?
Oh, sorry, my notifications are going off.
No.
It's this app called Opal or OPAL. It turns off my screen time
Oh, yeah.
at night so I can go to sleep because I would doom scroll a lot and not sleep enough. So I think, and you can also set it to like turn off apps at a certain point. So I
Yeah,
use that religiously now.
that's nice. I tried, but I failed, and so at some point I just deleted it.
Oh no. Give it
So,
another
yeah,
chance. Give it another chance. You got this.
I need to. I really need to.
Yeah.
So, one podcast you always go back to.
Smosh Reddit stories. So because I'm trying to learn all the time, I just need something that's like fun and silly. And Smosh is like a YouTube channel that now reads Reddit stories. If you guys are familiar, it's just like, you know, people venting about their lives. It's just so fun. You should check it out if you haven't.
Definitely have to. I think sometimes life is too serious to
Yeah.
just like, we need that fun. So, a moment maybe of failure that helped you grow.
Moment of failure that helped me grow. Um, okay. I think, yeah, the pandemic, like if I had started right away with my job, I think I never would have gone into anything like super serious with creative. I'm sure I would have found a different successful path. I don't want to like dismiss what my past self would have done, but I think like the pandemic happened when it needed to happen. It helped slow everything down. I got to think about what I wanted to do and like how meaningful I wanted my life to be. And I think it set me on a right path. Like, even though I feel like, oh man, I miss this part of my past life that I wanted to do, I can still do it. Like there's nothing stopping me, but I think I ended up where I needed to be. And this is like a great company for me to grow at, and I've changed so many roles. So yeah, I think like that was a failure. I don't know if that was my failure, that was just the world coming to a close, but that moment felt very like, oh no, I failed. I couldn't find a job, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I think the pandemic kind of gave all us like a little setback. Mine was a bit different because I was still in high school, but there was still a point. Well,
Yeah.
so a creator or CEO you look up to?
Oh man, I forgot the name of this person, but she's the CEO of Canva. I love Canva. It's such an amazing like design and like creative tool for people who are technical or even not technical. And I just admire her so much because of like what she created. I think it started in 2013 when I was in high school, and I remember using it a little bit, and then I used it all throughout college and for all of my podcast like content too. So, and I still try to use it as much as I can today, but I'm also using like Figma and stuff. So, yeah, I love that CEO. Can't remember her name. Please insert it here. But she's awesome.
Like the Canva in general, I just like discovered Canva maybe a year ago or something. I before that I never really needed that, you know. Now in university or for the podcast even, I love Canva. It's like so helpful, and my team always uses Canva, like all with the editing and stuff. It's very nice. Like we will definitely insert her name. She needs the credits for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last question, one word to describe your work style.
Mm,
You can also do a sentence. It's okay, but try to do a word.
Uh, okay. Let me just think about this real quick. A word that I think intentional. Like I do things with intention for sure. I don't like oh, I don't know if I can cuss,
Just
but
like randomly
like
go for it. You always have like a
yeah,
reason.
I'm not random. I'm very like strategic and intentional about what I'm doing and what I'm saying and like why I'm doing something. So I think that's how, yeah, that would be the best word to describe it.
I see. Amazing. So first of all, thank you, Kiran, for being here, being on our podcast. It was a pleasure, and it was actually nice to see maybe somebody from a other position or also like from the other side of the world to be
Yeah.
on our podcast and share their experience, share their life, and amazing. So do you have any last words you want to share, or any advice, or anything you really want to tell the viewers?
Yeah, I would say to anyone listening, um, there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be some things that come up in your life, whether it's career-wise, family-wise, personal, but just keep trying, keep going, keep pushing forward because you ultimately will get to where you need to be if you never give up. So just keep going. You got this. I believe in you. And yeah, thank you for having me on, Manpreet. Like this was super fun. It was great catching up with you too and talking about some of these like different things we usually don't talk about.
Yeah, we talk about something, we gossip, but it's okay. It was nice to have this on a professional level today. I'm very happy to
Yeah.
have you here. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time, and thank you to you guys to listening. And we will see each other in another episode of Get Started. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.